I know, Amina. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me today. I think it is both the bittersweet that you're leaving us, but I know for a fact that you are going out in the world to do bigger and greater things. And it is not by chance that we cross paths. So I can only be so happy for you. And, you know, the purpose of this is just to get your idea on how your fellowship was, your takeaways, your lessons, and how, the year has been for you in our career, on a career basis anyway.
Okay, perfect. Let's go.
Okay, so Amina, I just want to know from you why you decided to enroll in the ASC fellowship program.
Okay, so my particular reason was just I wanted something that was different, but that would also allow me to grow and to, you know, broaden my horizon and perspectives in a different industry. Obviously, coming from a law background and having done international relations and international politics, I wanted something that was, you know, challenging, but yet something that would, you know, that was relatable at the same time, so that I stay in, you know, in line of how I want to achieve my short, middle, medium and long-term goals. So it just so happened to be that I also found my niche at the same time. And as much as I thought that I was only here for a good time and not a long time, it's the other way around. I'm here for a long time, and I hope and I trust it's going to be a good time. But yeah, so now I'm here to stay in the energy space for a long time, and yeah.
I love that. And how would you describe your experience at the Chamber?
So my experience was a very interesting one. I would say that at the beginning, it was a bit overwhelming. I wouldn't say that I found it challenging, because I feel I like challenges because it forces you to grow, right? But most importantly for me, it was the reason why I say overwhelming is because, you know, it was completely new. It was a whole new different language. It was, you know, a different industry. It was different people. It was a different, you know, everything was just new to me. And, you know, when you're in a space where you are surrounded by people who are well informed about the industry and what it is that they are doing in their space, you kind of feel like, you know, well, they kind of expect you to also rise up to the occasion. So you have to hit the ground running. And for me, I was fortunate enough to have, you know, a very supportive structure around me who was always, you know, understanding. As much as, you know, they'd be pushing me and pulling me, I knew it was, you know, for the betterment of myself and for my future plans.
I love that. And I know you spoke on nothing necessarily being challenging, but from your perspective, what would you say was the most interesting and what would you say were the most challenging moments during your program?
Okay, so for me, I think maybe the one that I would highlight out was I went into NJ's office and he told me, I need you to start writing. And I was like, I don't think so. And he said, well, it wasn't a situation. He was like, you need to start writing. And I was like, I'm thinking, maybe he's thinking like I should like write the date or write, you know. And he was like, no, you're going to start writing articles. And I said, And so, you know, sitting down also, like, you know, when you come to think of it, you're like, okay, but who's going to be, what's the word who's going to be not monitoring it, but who's going to be like reviewing the thing that is going back to him. So, you know, you're forced to like be, you know, I want to say like you're forced to rise up to the occasion, but, you know, you try and, you know, do as best as you can, obviously because now you also want to show that you are kind of like getting the feel of things. But I think that was the most challenging part for me. But then once I got into it, it was like a walk in the park.
I love it. And what would you say is the most important takeaway that you've had?
I think important takeaway is also something that I think Verner told me when we were parting ways, was that always go to the issue of the problem, go to the bottom of everything that you are dealing with. Don't just see things on the surface. Go to the root of everything and then take it from there and work your way up. I think also for me it was you know, it was just always about the bigger picture. and you know, like how I know in our meetings you're always told that it's never about you. It's all, like, look at it from a bigger angle, bigger perspective, and I think that's one of my most important takeaways.
I love that. Yeah, totally. And Amina, obviously you were given this opportunity. What advice or tips would you recommend a young professional like yourself? Like, what do they need to do to apply themselves so that they are given an opportunity like you were granted?
So I think most important is for you to see yourself as a student. Well, I see myself as a student of life. So wherever I go, I'm there to learn and to grow. So that would be the most important part, to, you know, be able to have information given to you, and for you to take it with I want to say with humility, if like that's like a correct way of putting it, because don't take it as someone is trying to, you know, force you to think a certain way. They're just trying to teach you how they see things, you know, and put yourself in a position to see things from other people's perspectives. Bring your own as well, but, you know, be open to being you know, what's the word, to being malleable, you know, so that you don't just come with this rigid form of thinking. And yes, so susceptible is the word, right? And
yes.
Adaptable, there we go. And then also just adding on to that as well is just being adaptable as well, in terms of coming into the space as well. I think that's also one of the key catalysts of anyone's success, being able to be adaptable, to adapt in every situation that you walk into and walk from, because that will be you know, that will allow you to basically walk into different rooms, and at the end of the day be able to take over the room, because you are adaptable. And one thing for me, I think what I also want to just add on, I think, I don't know if it falls, it was something that I mentioned earlier on, is that when I came in, you know, I knew so little, like little to zero of the language, you know, but then everyone in the chamber was still like, use your little language, use little broken pieces anyway, you know, and here I am. Exactly, and here I'm fluent in the language now. But that again was because of I put myself in a position where I was like, I'm here to learn, I'm here to grow, and I think you must also know what it is that you want. Don't come in there wandering around, because then you'll just stay there, you know, just wandering. That's exactly what you're going to do. The main thing is that you should have an idea, an outline, have your own goals, so that when you get there, use whatever tools are given to you to help you achieve those goals, but also to get yourself further. I mean, it's a very big platform. It's big exposure. Know what it is that you want. Present yourself in a way. You know, something that someone told me was, dress the way that you want to be addressed. But I think it's also in terms of being, you know, present yourself in the way that you want to be presented, in the way that you want people to present you. So and the key thing at the end of the day is humility. I know some people are coming from different industries, certain different jobs and all of that. They might be having director, managerial roles. Fellowship is all about learning and growing. So you coming with the whole, you know, this idea of, I come from, you know, a place where I had my own PA and this and that won't suffice here. You're here to learn, you're here to grow. Humility is key, and I think it's not just in terms of a fellowship, it works in every space, in every angle, in every area you're going to be in your life. Yeah,
I love that, and I'm so glad you touched on that, because I feel as though as young professionals we kind of try to stay on the narrow. So sometimes you do have to just like throw that little book away and, you know, unlearn a certain thing so that you're able to learn them. So I love that.
Definitely, and I think also just adding on to what you're saying about the young people is that most young people think that just because they got like a, you know, a distinction in their engineering degree, and then they feel like, oh, you know what, so wherever I go to, I should be treated like gold because I passed really well in university. That really isn't the case. Like when you're here, it's just, you know, you're just here to learn and do that, stick to that. Yeah.
And Amina, how do you feel about your career prospects now versus you having started the program?
Okay, so I think now I have a clearer view of where it is that I want to be. So like I said, I had my life planned out when I was coming into the chamber. So I had my goals aligned out as in 30 days, 90 days, 30, 60, 90, 120 days. So I knew, so that kind of kept me in check. But if I am to put it into a layman's term, I would say that I was looking at my career from the naked eye, and not having a zoomed in version of, example, the star. So now I have binoculars. The skills that I've gained have formed like into binoculars, where I can kind of see my vision very clearly. And now it's sort of like I can see where I'm headed, where I currently am, where I come from. And that is all because of the goals that I had set out for myself, number one, but also because of everything else that has happened, leading to this moment.
I love that. And obviously, I know what the year looks for you, and that's why I'm really excited. But for those that don't know, what are you doing now? What does 2022 look like for you? And just tell us a little bit about like your goals, your aspirations, and what is next for Amina Ali.
So, well, I think 2022 for me, my own life is a surprise, to be quite honest. But just in terms of what I do know of what is happening and is going to happen, is that I've taken on I've accepted a job offer that is so amazing, which is very close to my heart. It is something that aligns to my purpose. My purpose has always been about giving, helping people, just doing things for the greater good. And so, and not to say that the chamber wasn't that. The chamber was more of the advocating part, where I would say that I used my educational part to thrive through that. And now it's more of a practical, in terms of practicality, where now I actually end up going into the energy space, and in a practical sense, help people attain what it is that they need to, for, in the sense, the chamber's sense, making energy poverty history. With that, I would then add that I am still following my purpose. I think that's always what's going to be, key to me and to my being. I had a talk with someone yesterday, and they summed it up so well, that in life you actually have to always work from the end to the beginning. So you must always know where it is that you want to be, and then from there work your way to that. And for me, my dream job is to be the United Nations Secretary General. So me getting there is through different ways, in terms of like my purpose, through helping people and all of that. So from here onwards, it's just about staying true to that. And I have also co-founded an organization where we're going to try and put 1 million young people into the energy space, so that they can come back into the energy space in terms of the educational space, where they learn about energy, so they can come back into their governments, into their countries, and implement whatever it is that they've learned, so that we can again make energy part of history. And so so that's just what I have for now. We'll see what else the year and life throws at me, but I'm keen to also see you do well, and I'll always be one of the biggest supporters.
I've got goosebumps. I've literally got goosebumps. I feel as though I've lost my twin. Remember how we've confused our members, our board members?
All the time, standard procedure. So it's like, so I got a message, like, I know this for you, like, should I respond to that?
Which Amina?
Which Amina is it? And we know very well who it is. But we're like, so what were you referring to? But
I know. Amina, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I will continue stalking you, continue following your goals, your dreams. You always have a home here in the chamber, and we are always cheering you on. So I'm looking so forward to the new year and everything that you aim to accomplish.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and I'm gonna miss you so much. My regards to everyone at the chamber, and I'll definitely be watching y'all too. AEW, I'll see you at AEW.
That's you, right? It's a date.